Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
You guys already know who we're talking about. The resilient Jenkins family. We've been following their journey for a minute now, and honestly, things just keep getting more interesting. So apparently, Stephanie had a little moment on Facebook where she posted from what looks like her actual main account instead of one of her usual hidden ones. She shared some pictures from her son's third birthday party at the arcade. At first, it seemed sweet, right? Like, finally getting the kids out of the motel room for a little family fun. That's always a good thing in my book. But here's the thing. Arcades are usually built for older kids, like 5 and up, so the toddler, little Atlas, was kind of just standing around watching everyone else play. He didn't really look like he was having the time of his life, you know? People in the comments started noticing and gently pointing it out. Someone even asked something like, "Well, where's Atlas having fun?" And, "Girl," her response, "your profile pic annoys me." Wait, what? The person's picture was of a little girl, probably their own kid. That reply came out of nowhere and felt pretty cold, honestly. It gave off major, I forgot I'm not on a burner account right now energy. Instead of addressing the actual question or even brushing it off nicely, she went straight for shading someone's child's photo. I cannot with that, especially because she's talked before about being more active and responsive with her followers who reach out or comment. But when folks bring up something that actually looks concerning about the kids, this is the kind of reaction we get. Oof. It's giving defensive and not the open, warm vibe she said she wants to have.
Because then obviously I wouldn't be able to make the video. But I feel like I want to talk about this more because the more I heal, the more I look back and realize like family was way more rooted in evil and crazy stuff than I really had any knowledge of. I didn't really realize to the extent of how fucked up people could be. And honestly, I've learned a lot more of that even just in the past year. But I keep getting like triggering memories of what it was like to be with my ex and live with his family, and like he had multiple brothers too that I met that were just bro. And the thing is, like, I'm not gonna go into too much depth of it because some people just have a safety net that I don't, especially when it comes to money. And these are the kind of people that do. Okay, so that's part of the reason why I'm still fucking married to him. And I've explained this. That's why I'm just like, I dismiss the comments. You're still married because you want to be. No, the fuck, I'm not. It actually costs money to divorce people. And I don't know that would be like, other than filing fees would be too much of my issue now because it has been so long that we've been separated. But it still costs money that I've been putting elsewhere for the past so many years. But what I'm trying to say is that not everybody is given the tools and the knowledge of how to read a person and know the evil and that they already are, what they're capable of. I definitely wasn't, especially at 18, 19 years old when I met the guy. And I was just looking for a get out of my freaking mom's house type of situation, get away, because her and I were not seeing eye to eye. We were fighting fucking constantly. And more or less she was just like, I need you to get out. And he was very manipulative. I didn't know anything about his past, and I didn't even honestly know how to.
Now, I've been sitting with this for a bit, and I keep wondering why Drew has been looking so wiped out and checked out in a lot of their recent videos. Low-key, I think I kind of get it. He's out there doing full-time hours at Safeway on the front lines, then hustling DoorDash deliveries on top of that. For someone who's been really open about how much he dislikes working, like he said he hates people telling him what to do, hates being stuck in one place, and if a customer gives him attitude, he's been known to just walk out and not come back. This level of grinding has to be exhausting. Apparently, he's become one of the top dashers in Oregon, putting premium gas in the Jetta and everything. So he's really pushing himself. Imagine you're already doing all that, coming home drained, and then your partner who's home with the kids starts talking about how she has all this free time to start learning new languages, Spanish and a couple others. I don't know about you, but that would rub me the wrong way too. You're dealing with rude customers and long shifts, and she's over here like, today feels like a good day to pick up another language. Yeah, I would be so annoyed, not gonna lie.
The resilient Jenkins posted a very concerning chicken Alfredo video, so let's react. Stephanie, I can tell this is already going to be Gleep and Glop, because why the fuck are you putting bacon in the pan? Stephanie, why the fuck do you have an entire onion in there? This isn't even chicken Alfredo anymore. Stephanie, that is way too much seasoning. This looks so fucking nasty. The strawberries are probably way better than the meal. What the fuck is up with King Daddy Drew?
Give that back to Bella for a little bit.
Stephanie, why the hell are you putting slices of cheese in the experiment? That looks so fucking disgusting. Stephanie, the chicken is raw. Stephanie, I really hope this is rage bait and you did not actually feed this to your kids.
And speaking of things that rub people the wrong way, Stephanie dropped another one of her long Facebook posts the other day, and it was giving serious no accountability energy. She was going on about how it's crazy that people connect success with hard work, but can't recognize hard work when there isn't obvious success yet. She kept saying she's working so hard as a stay-at-home mom. But when you look at what she actually shares, it leaves a lot of people scratching their heads. The motel room stays messy. The kids are often into things they probably shouldn't be touching, and we don't really see a lot of intentional hands-on stuff with them. No structured activities, no big cleaning days, no fun snacks. She prepped herself. Even her cooking clips come across pretty basic. She went pretty deep into how stay-at-home moms basically do the job of a housekeeper, cook, teacher, driver, dietitian, and all these roles that people get paid for separately, and yet they don't get any credit or money for it.
You might be wondering why Andrew Jenkins is putting premium in a Jetta, a VW Jetta. The reason why he's putting a premium in the VW Jetta is because this is the first real car that Andrew Jenkins have ever had. Before meeting Stephanie Thompson, Andrew Jenkins did not have a car. Andrew Jenkins was probably relying on public transportation and using the car of whatever woman he was dating at the time. Because Andrew Jenkins is a professional homosexual, and professional homosexuals usually don't have their own cars.
She even kept calling regular jobs W-2s, Bucky, which I thought was kind of funny because I've honestly never heard anyone phrase it like that before. And listen, being a stay-at-home parent is absolutely real work. No question. But the difference is when you see moms who are really in it, their spaces are usually together, the kids look engaged, and there's some kind of routine happening. With what Stephanie shows, it's often the opposite, and she shares almost everything.
That's why Andrew Jenkins treats that Jetta like it's his baby. That's why Andrew Jenkins had a car detailing business that only detailed the rims and not the actual tire of the car. That's why Andrew Jenkins is sleeping in his Jetta. And that's why Andrew Jenkins named his son that he had with Stephanie Thompson Atlas. Atlas is the name of a Volkswagen SUV. That's why Andrew Jenkins' dream car is a Volkswagen SUV, a Volkswagen van that's electric. but he's mentioned he can't afford it because it's $900 a month. Andrew Jenkins' actual first real possession is that Jetta. That's why he loves it so much, and that's why he takes care of it so much. And that's why he can't leave Stephanie Thompson, because that Jetta belongs to her. Her name is on that Jetta. She traded that van in for the Jetta. So her name is on the Jetta. If Andrew Jenkins is to leave Stephanie Thompson, he will leave behind his most prized possession, which is his Jetta.
The wildest part for me is that she pointed out they have 3 streams of income. Drew's 2 jobs plus whatever she makes from social media. And they're still stuck in that same motel room after more than a year. She basically said it's society's fault, not anything to do with their effort or planning. But let's be real for a second. We see them going out to eat, grabbing daily coffees, doing LED face masks, laser hair removal, full skincare routines, smoking, putting premium gas in the car. And somehow, with all of that plus the money she says her views bring in, they can't get into actual housing? The math just isn't adding up, girl. It really looks like there's no solid plan or savings happening to get them out of there anytime soon, and that's hard to watch when there are 4 little kids involved. She also pushed back on people asking why she doesn't just put the kids in daycare and go get a regular job herself. Her answer was basically that Drew's income plus her content earnings should be enough, but society is what's holding them back. A lot of other moms, both stay-at-home and working ones, clapped back in the comments sharing their own stories.
Number 1, someone posted this on Facebook, and it is so true. If you recall, when they went to the fun place for the infant's first birthday, with the climbers and the balls and all the fun things that is actually age appropriate for Atlas, Stephanie said little A is overstimulated by that play space. With the normal overhead lighting and all the sounds, I just don't think that would have been good for him to go there. That's what she said. She didn't let him go to Minova's birthday, which was at an age appropriate play space, right? Then she decides to bring him to an arcade, a noisy, overcrowded arcade full of flashing lights, unpredictable noises, and she called it Atlas's happy place. Make that make sense, Miss Thompson. The reality is that Drew wanted to go to the arcade because that means he can play video games while pretending to be a parent. And, Steph's usual move of leaving little A behind wasn't an option because, it was his birthday and everything. Because she never wants to stay alone with A because secretly she resents him.
Single moms working full-time while taking night classes, couples doing opposite shifts so they didn't need daycare, women cutting out takeout and little luxuries to make housing the priority. They weren't attacking the idea of staying home with your kids. They were saying it's a privilege that only really works when the family can actually afford the stability that comes with it. Living in a motel with 4 kids for over a year isn't the protected, ideal situation she seems to want praise for. Low-key, the whole tone of the post felt less like, I love being a mom and pouring into my babies, and more like resentment toward the responsibilities. The way she listed everything out sounded more like a complaint than a celebration. And whenever the questions about their situation get too loud, she hops on Facebook and drops one of these long, dramatic rants.
The only one nutty is you, Mrs. Jeremiah Thompson. It's actually nutty that people contribute success to hard work but can't see hard work without success. Like, what is that? You're not showing hard work. Stop. Before you jump on my neck about this, think about how often that's actually the case. I hear people say all the time, I worked so hard to be here. Okay, awesome. A lot of us work hard daily. Expand your minds a little. Work doesn't only mean W-2. You're so exhausting. And the hard work doesn't show. You're not going to go viral again. Give it up. I'm not here to explain to anti-stay-at-home mom peeps how much I do daily. You don't do shit. We see it in videos. Like... You prove it to us with your own content. That's why we say this stuff. Like, we don't say it for no reason. We say it because of what you show us. We're not making it up. And the fact that you don't see that shows how delusional you are. Truly.
It's like clockwork. This one turned a pretty straightforward situation into a whole speech about invisible labor, class society, and how nobody understands. But at the end of the day, it boiled down to the same message we've heard before. None of this is really my fault. She even made a whole list of all the hats stay-at-home moms wear. Housekeeper, cook, appointment setter, transportation specialist, dietitian, teacher, housing resource assistant, cleaner, saying these are all paid positions separately, so moms deserve credit. And yeah, motherhood involves a ton. Well, but when she puts those titles on herself, people naturally look at what she actually posts. One messy motel room, basic meals, not much structured play or learning. The comments got pretty spicy because of that gap between what she claims and what we see.
I just hope that I have the answers to the crazy rat race before it's my kid's turn to run. And if moms can do everything at home that people have individual jobs for, why is not considered enough that we do it daily without the money? I'm going to read durability on all these jobs. Housekeeper, F. Cook, F minus. Appointment setter, F. Transportation specialist, you should be in jail. Dietitian, jail. Teacher, F minus. Housing resource assistant, jail. Jail. Cleaners, F minus. Jail for the whole list. No! You're saying that you want praise for doing all these things? You need to do them well to get praised. We do not applaud the fish for swimming, and we do not praise Mrs. Jeremiah Thompson for breathing. All jobs that individuals get paid for in all separate positions. And yet that's a fraction of what a mom does daily. You don't do any of that daily, so try again. So next time you make a crap remark to a stay-at-home mom about why don't you get a job, remember that you are exactly the puppet the government relies on. You rely entirely on the government for your existence. I can't. Guys.
Then she doubled down at the end saying she could write a whole essay, but people wouldn't care because they're in their privileged bubbles. She talked about rising up with knowledge, grace, strength, and resilience, said God's in control, not men, and that everyone who doubted her is going to be shook when they see what she's capable of. The religious angle has been coming in stronger lately. It almost feels like she's framing herself as this misunderstood, resilient heroine who's just believing hard enough and the universe will handle the rest without needing to make any big changes on her end. I mean, ugh! It's the same cycle we keep seeing. Big emotional post, blame society, defend the stay-at-home mom title while the results don't quite match, end with destiny and God. Meanwhile, the kids are still in that one room and nothing has really moved forward in over a year.
Like, Google somebody the proper way to see their background. Like, it makes me sick to think like I wasn't even, like, didn't have that knowledge at 18, you know? Because my kids are definitely gonna know that, but it's beside the point. I didn't have any idea who the fuck I was actually messing with until I did, and then at that point, I was already we had our second kid, and he started to really show me, like, who the fuck he is, and anyways, the misconceptions about me with you honestly think that I chose to be in that situation. I don't care. It's just downright evil for you to assume you even know anything about that situation. And like, it just goes to show like how many people just dismiss somebody's story just because like, oh, well, it's convenient to believe this anyways. Okay, well, you weren't there.
I'm not here to hate on stay-at-home moms. So many of them are out here doing incredible, invisible work every single day, and you can see it in their homes and their kids. The issue isn't the title. It's the lack of visible progress, the constant shifting of blame, and the fact that the little ones seem to be the ones paying the biggest price.
So, yeah, I really do hope that one time I don't know if maybe there'll be a time in my life where I can open up more about what I really went through with them and like what I know. I just don't think it's the safe space to do so. I just don't think so. So, yeah, I didn't know, and I wish I would have known, and I wish I would have had the tools to know what the fuck I was gonna get myself into. If I had the knowledge I have today, definitely done way more extensive research and found out he had way more on his record than what he told me. But I really didn't think anything beyond, okay, well, he seems nice because, like I said, he was fucking manipulative as shit. Like, he was incredibly nice to me and tried to like, oh, well, oh, your mom shouldn't treat you like that kind of shit. Like, yeah, anyways. It's hard for me to talk about, but I get tired of people fucking acting like they know what the fuck they're talking about with me when it comes to this situation. So, believe what you want to believe, that you're going to anyways.
Finally shared something about their little one turning 3, and honestly, I was low-key relieved they actually got the kids out for some kind of celebration. Every toddler deserves to feel special on their big day, you know. No child should miss out on that kind of fun. But here's what threw me. They picked an arcade for a 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old of my own, and I'm sitting here like, an arcade? Really? Don't get me wrong, my kid would probably lose their mind running around all excited, but it just wouldn't be my top choice for a birthday party. You know what I mean?
And doesn't want to parent him. And she doesn't trust Drew to go out without her. And she couldn't miss the chance to make it seem like she's doing stuff with the kids. And of course she had Dee there too, so she is in competition with Desiree. But it's not much of a competition because Desiree feeds him, clothes him, takes him to the doctor, does, you know, all those parenting things. And then she posted the pictures of the food that she made for the children today. And it's gross. Overseasoned chicken, cheeseburgers with barbecue sauce, and nothing else. No french fries, no chips, no applesauce, nothing. And for breakfast, watered down oatmeal, burnt sausages. I just don't get it. She calls herself a cook and she wants to be known as some great cook. You know, she thinks she's Nara Smith or whatever, which we all know she isn't. But everything she makes is burnt, overseasoned, and gross. And that's why Dee told his mom that he's always hungry and he can't ask for seconds. Anyway, I just saw that post on Facebook and I thought, gosh, that's so true.
At least they did something, though, right? That part I can definitely respect, but wait. Then I saw the part where the indoor play gym was apparently way too overstimulating for the toddler, yet they're cool with the arcade full of flashing lights and loud noises. Girl, hold up. That doesn't quite add up for me. If anything, an arcade feels like it would be even more intense, with all the screens, the beeps, the constant chaos everywhere. Oof. I'm just saying, it comes across a little inconsistent. And speaking of that, remember when she talked about their son being diagnosed with epilepsy? I'm not here to question whether that's accurate or not, but we do know he's been dealing with seizures. So taking 2 young kids who've had recent health stuff like that to a place packed with bright flashing lights and super loud sounds, I don't know. It just makes me pause and raise an eyebrow.
Why is she like this? You thinking another citizen is the issue and not focusing on your negative energy where it belongs is exactly why the system thrives the way it does. I'm a lazy loser who won't get a job and lives off the government, but somehow the system is the problem. Whatever. I get asked all the time why I don't just shove my kids in daycare and go back to work. As we've said before, nobody's forcing you to put your kids in daycare, which you would get for free. But as everybody has said for well over a year, opposite shifts. It's what half of America that has to have 2 working parents does and can't afford daycare or doesn't want daycare, just like you. Oh my God, they work opposite shifts. Dumbass. My man working 2 full-time jobs should be more than enough to keep our household floating, but it isn't. Yeah, but it isn't. I make money on top of that through social media and I'm blessed to have that. And it's still not enough with that. So like you finished that paragraph, but the message wasn't done. His 2 jobs aren't enough. Your social media also is still not enough because you are all still homeless.
I'm not trying to come down too hard, but that choice feels a bit off, you know? Like, at least they got everyone out of the motel room for a bit, but still. Interesting decisions all around. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Instead of dropping a bunch of cute birthday photos and videos like you'd expect from a family channel, she kind of went off on this whole side rant about how Drew's cooking videos get more love than hers. Apparently, they both laugh when people comment that his stuff looks better, but then she dropped this long explanation about why her videos might not look as put together. Basically saying that when she's in the kitchen, he's not around to watch the kids, but when he cooks, she's right there giving him full support so he can focus. Okay. First of all, if they're truly laughing it off and unbothered, why write a whole paragraph defending it, you know? It kind of gives the vibe that she's low-key annoyed or jealous that his content is getting more attention. And the way she laid it out almost makes it sound like they're in some kind of competition instead of being a solid team. Like, he's supposed to be your partner, right? Why frame it as, I'm stuck handling the kids while he gets to cook in peace?
You cut off your own sentence because you didn't want to be accountable. And we will stay stuck because of society, not our lack of hard work or effort, not trying the one thing that everyone's been suggesting the entire time. And I could literally turn this into an essay of information, but it would probably make zero difference. The information is already out there. If people cared to actually educate themselves, they would. It's just easier for them to sit in a privileged bubble and blame everyone they don't like on downfall of the system. Oh God. Ugh. And yes, I say all this confidently. Yeah, you do. You got some good stuff this month, didn't you? Knowing I'm still not the one in the wrong here. Oh my God, I can't. I will rise out of this stage of my life with knowledge, grace, strength, resilience, and everyone who doubted me will be shook by the potential they missed. God's in control, not men. Certainly not you, because you won't take control of your life and do the right thing and get a job and get your family out of there, even if it's just temporarily getting a job. You just won't do the work. Do better. Bye-bye now.
That energy just feels off to me. She even threw in hashtags like hashtag resilient Jenkins, hashtag Motel living, hashtag burgers, hashtag relatable, and hashtag mom life. I mean, I get wanting to seem chill about it, but writing all that just to say you don't care, it kind of screams the opposite, honestly. And the wildest part? She still barely showed anything about the actual birthday celebration itself. They're a family vlogging channel. They post cleaning routines, cooking, daily life, all of that. But for their toddler's third birthday, we basically got just a couple pictures and a caption. People in the comments and on those alternative discussion spots have been asking for more glimpses of the kids having fun, even if faces are blurred or blocked. But nope, instead we got this long defensive note about cooking videos. She did post a little photo dump later saying they went to Wonderland to celebrate Atlas's big day. She mentioned Drew picked the spot and it was perfect for family time, and that the lights, sounds, and games were totally his happy place. But then she doubled down, saying the lower stimulation play place wasn't good because he couldn't really move around and burn off energy there. So the arcade was the better option. Allegedly. I'm sorry, but the mental gymnastics here are wild. You're telling me the play gym was too much stimulation, but blaring arcade noises and flashing lights are the move for a kid who's been having seizures? Make it make sense, please. I cannot with that part.
Hey guys, how's it going? I know it's been a while since I last posted. I have been quite busy, just focusing on the grind and trying to maintain the house with Stephanie. Everything's going well, I guess. More or less just developing a better routine and staying consistent. I hope everybody else is doing well. The weather's been nice the past couple of days. If anybody has any questions or comments or concerns, put them in the comments. I did want to, I guess, respond to a couple comments, but being so busy, I kind of forgot what they were. The only thing I can say is, I mean, it's paying off slowly. I'm not rich, but the struggling part is starting to lessen. I'm working 45 hours a week at the job, and then trying to work anywhere from 21 to 30 plus hours a week. Gig work is helping. So yeah, hope to hear from everybody. Hope to hear from everybody soon. Have a good day. Enjoy the weather.
Plus, let's talk logistics for a second, because this is where my brain starts spinning. They've got a 5-seater car and a whole bunch of kids. How exactly did the entire crew get to this arcade? People online were throwing out ideas like maybe they took an Uber or something, but come on now. Knowing their situation, that feels pretty unlikely. Some folks were guessing they probably left some of the kids back at the motel with one parent, dropped others off, then went back and forth. But that sounds like such a whole production. And if we're keeping it real, a lot of people are pointing out they don't exactly seem like the type to go through all that effort. Squishing everyone in the car, kids sitting on floors. Yeah. The whole thing just feels a little messy when you sit and think about it. Now, Portland apparently has some pretty cool spots for little ones. There's that giant indoor sandbox thing. I think it's one of the biggest around. Perfect for a kid who's all about playing in dirt and rocks, like Atlas seems to be, or those jump parks where kids can just bounce their energy out. But instead, they went with an arcade that feels more geared toward older kids. Sure, a 3-year-old could probably have some fun with a few games, but it doesn't exactly scream tailored for a toddler's big day. If the goal was something that could work for the whole crew, including the little ones and the bigger ones, why not just stick with something like urban air again, like they did for the baby celebration earlier? It kind of gives the impression that maybe there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into matching the activity to what each kid actually lights up for. She mentioned that Drew was the one who suggested Wonderland.
King Bad Dad Drew himself has posted his weekly TikTok. I'm not going to get into his rambling too much because it's all lies. He's just as bad as Stephanie to me. I don't think he should get any slack. He could have been trying and working this entire time. He too neglects the kids and does not plan birthdays. That's not all up to Stephanie. Just because he works doesn't mean that he also is not a parent. The children that he has with Stephanie are not the first children that he's had. This is a neglectful father who is going to come on the internet and just say whatever. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to get into what the deadbeat dad says. I just want to point out this one thing. Maybe it's my neurodivergence, but this is actually insane to me.
Everyone else is doing well. The weather's been nice the past couple of days.
It's like this the entire video. It's the only thing I can see. I don't know a single sober person that could sit and film and talk with a metal thing jabbing into their throat for that long without adjusting it. This is just my opinion, but this video might have been the most telling that this man is not sober.
I don't know, girl. Does that mean he's super tuned in to all their individual preferences, or was it just the easiest option that day? Either way, a bunch of people online are saying, hey, at least they did something, and I get that energy. When you're in the thick of it with a big family, sometimes just getting out the door feels like a win. But when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the health stuff they've been dealing with, the transportation challenges, worries about overstimulation for the little ones, and how the vlog content has been looking lately, it starts to feel a bit less like pure wholesome family fun and more like questionable choices, you know? Speaking of questionable, let's circle back to that cooking video and the caption that came with it. Stephanie keeps saying she's not complaining and she really doesn't care what anybody thinks, but then she drops these long explanations, defending herself. She talks about juggling the kids while trying to film, like she's the only mom on the planet who's ever had to do that.
So recently I found that my appetite has switched over to this like complete mom diet, I call it. I found myself craving things that I really didn't crave before, and I don't know. I wanted to experiment with this little like tuna salad thing that I had going through my head, and it ended up turning out so freaking delicious. I'm most definitely not the first one to make this, I'm sure, but it was the first time I had ever made anything like this. I mean, I've had like plenty of tuna sandwiches and just like tuna like regular with just mayo, but I've never done anything else with it, and I thought putting a couple more ingredients in it, I might be able to just enjoy it like straight out the bowl, and I was not wrong. I'm telling you, you gotta try this. It was actually so good. I'm not lying. I will say it didn't turn out the best color, but that's beside the point. It was still good. Give me some ideas of what you might add to this because I feel like it can get even better. Thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye now.
Come on now. Millions of parents cook dinner every single day. Single moms holding it down, couples tag teaming, whoever. Sometimes one person is managing everything while the other is at work or whatever. It's not some rare superhero moment. The whole, won't somebody please see how hard this is for me vibe is starting to feel a little tired, especially when she turns around in the same breath and says she's totally fine with the hate comments. Real talk. If you're genuinely unbothered by the negativity, why keep addressing it head on? Why keep framing things in a way that positions you as the resilient victim who's just powering through? It almost feels like there's this need for both the praise and the drama at the same time. Most people, after this much consistent pushback, would probably take a step back from putting their life online like this.
This picture was taken by Mia and shared when she first came onto the internet to tell the story of her and Andrew Jenkins. For those of you that don't know, Courtney is the pregnant lady that Andrew Jenkins left Desiree for when they were living together in the homeless shelter in the transitional housing. This picture is a picture of Andrew Jenkins playing his video games while Courtney's baby is in a stroller. And this is the epitome of who Andrew Jenkins is. With every single woman that Andrew Jenkins has been with, he pretends to be a responsible adult, only for a certain period of time. He pretended to be a responsible adult for Arlita. He pretended to be a responsible adult for Desiree. He pretended to be a responsible adult for Courtney. And he's pretending to be a responsible adult for Stephanie Thompson. The only difference is now Stephanie Thompson is viral. They're viral, so it's harder for him to find a couch. But once he finds a couch, Drew Jenkins will be back to his regular ways because he's a professional homosexual.
But here we are, still going strong. And low-key, the overall vibe of some of the content sometimes gives me that unsettling feeling you get when you watch those true crime docs. You know the ones, like Evil Lives Here, where they show all the little signs in hindsight. Motel living with 7 people crammed in one room, going viral on TikTok for all the chaos, posting constantly while things look messy. It just has this energy that doesn't quite sit right as cute family content. I'm not saying anything bad is going on, of course. This is all alleged and just my gut reaction as I watch from the outside. But if this ever became a Netflix series down the line, people would probably be pointing at all the red flags in the footage. It's not the warm, feel-good family vibe you usually want from channels like this, you know what I mean? Stephanie, if you somehow stumble across this, and who knows, maybe you do, you gotta switch it up, babe. For the kids, for your peace, for real.
I also don't think the Brazilian Jenkins realize how true crime coded their content is. Like, if you've ever watched the show Evil Lives Here, and it like pans to that screen where it's like, but there had been signs. Like, I genuinely feel like we're in the live version of the signs. Like, there is just like a lot going on, like objectively, just genuinely looking at what they post. It's a lot. And if you watch true crime, I think you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, because like if you've ever watched a true crime episode and you're just watching like the whole thing play out, and I genuinely can just imagine people being like, oh my God, these people were living in a motel room as a family of 7 in one room and were like going viral on TikTok, and like she was making a bunch of TikToks about it. Like it's so crazy. It genuinely feels like it could be like a true crime docuseries on Netflix. That's what it feels like we're in the middle of. And Stephanie, it's not a good vibe.
Look, I'm not saying it's easy. Raising 4 kids in a motel room sounds incredibly tough, but when you choose to share your life online and keep insisting you're working harder than everyone else while the footage tells a different story, people are naturally going to notice and speak up. The frustration comes from watching someone perform victimhood instead of showing clear steps towards something better.
Hillary Duff has seen me. My shit show. I think about these sort of things, you know, and I have to.
I don't think Stephanie realizes the type of reach that she has, because she may not be on Hillary Duff's FYP, but she is on celebrities' FYPs, I'm sure. But it's the fact that that's even what she's talking about and even thinking about right now. She has a huge platform, could be talking about anything. Maybe give us an update on what she's actually doing in her life to make changes, strides forward, but instead she's just cleaning the same 300 square feet she cleans every single day, wondering if Kevin Hart and Hillary Duff have ever seen her videos. Does she not understand there's an entire podcast made about her and her family? And I know celebrities listen to those podcasts. The Do You Know Them podcast have made several episodes about her. So yeah, Stephanie, people know who you are, but why do you even care? Why aren't you thinking about other things like getting out of the motel room? And if she took her kids out, she would have something else to talk about, but all she does is sit in the motel room and clean the same exact mess, mind you, over and over and over. And that's why I feel like my updates have slowed down with her, because she's just so boring. She's doing the same thing, living in the same room. I also turned 34 over the past weekend, as I'm only 2 years older than Stephanie. I was reflecting all the work I put in to get to where I'm at right now. And I look at Stephanie and see she literally has the world at her fingertips, but she'd rather just sit in the motel room and do nothing with it.
What do you guys think about all this? Have you seen these kinds of rants from her before? Does the whole 3 streams of income but still no housing thing ever make sense to you? Drop your thoughts down below. And tell me again, where are you watching from? And what time is it there right now? If this video hit you in any way, don't forget to like it, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications so we can keep chatting about this stuff together. One more thing before I go. This whole situation just makes me sad for those little babies, you know? They deserve stability and a real plan more than another long Facebook speech. Anyway, that's the tea for today. Moi, love you guys. See you in the next one.